anyone there?
Long ago, in a solitary house at the edge of a dense forest, a woman found herself completely alone during a long weekend. Her husband had gone on a business trip and wouldn't return for 3 days. The house, though cozy, became somewhat unsettling when darkness took over the place. Trying to find comfort, the woman decided to prepare a delicious pizza for dinner while watching a horror movie in the living room. The flickering light of the television and the crackling of wood in the fireplace provided some solace in the midst of solitude. However, suddenly, an unknown and disturbing sound emerged. The landline phone started ringing insistently. A chill ran down her spine as she approached the phone and answered. On the other side of the line, there was only an eerie silence. She tried to speak, but her words seemed to vanish into thin air. Deciding it might be a mistake or a line problem, she hung up. Minutes passed, and the phone rang again. The woman, now somewhat puzzled, answered once more, but the situation repeated itself. No one spoke on the other end. A feeling of unease began to creep over her, and the idea of being completely alone in that house became overwhelming. Trying to keep calm, she decided to check that all the doors and windows were locked. The sound of rustling branches outside seemed more threatening than usual, and her mind toyed with the idea that someone was watching her from the darkness of the forest. When the phone rang again, the woman answered with a mix of irritation and fear, demanding answers from whoever was on the other side. However, what she heard next left her breathless, a disturbing and macabre laughter that made her heart race. Before she could say anything, the laughter abruptly stopped, leaving an even heavier silence in the air. Dark thoughts filled her mind, and a shiver ran through her entire body. Looking through the window that faced the backyard, she could make out a hooded figure holding a phone in their hand. Her heart seemed to stop for a moment, and terror overwhelmed her completely. She felt as though her life was in danger, and someone was lurking in the shadows of the forest. Without wasting a second, she dialed the emergency number for the police and explained what was happening. The operator's voice tried to reassure her, promising to send a patrol as quickly as possible. The operator recommended she hide and keep the line open until help arrived. Minutes felt like an eternity as the woman stayed hidden, clutching the phone with trembling hands. The intruder's steps echoed closer and closer, and she struggled to control her breathing to avoid being discovered. The soothing voice of the operator was her only comfort amid the anguish. Suddenly, the steps stopped right in front of the door of the room where she was hiding. A chill ran down her spine, and her heart beat so loudly that she feared the man might hear it. The silence was unbearable, and tension filled the air. The intruder seemed to be investigating every corner of the room, and the woman held onto the phone tightly, afraid to make even the slightest noise. Suddenly, the closet door where she had opened slowly. Her heart seemed to stop for an instant, and a piercing scream escaped her lips as she came face to face with the hooded man. For a moment that felt like an eternity, he stared at her. She could feel his agitated breath on her face, and terror consumed her in an indescribable way. Without saying a word, he extended his hand and took the phone from her, uttering unsettling words, "We'll be fine," and then hung up. Paralyzed by fear, the woman didn't know what to do or what to expect. The man stared at her a little longer before turning and walking away from the room. She could hear his footsteps receding, but she didn't dare move or leave the closet until she was sure the danger had passed. When she finally felt safe enough to come out, she hurriedly called the police again to report what had just happened. However, when the officers arrived at the house once more, they found the front door ajar, which made them even more uneasy. Determined to protect the woman, they entered cautiously, feeling the tension in the air. As they searched the house, they found bloodstains on the living room floor, leading to a trail that disappeared down the hallway. The flashlight beams illuminated their path as they advanced with caution, fearing what they might uncover. Their heartbeats resonated in the silence. The trail of blood led them to one of the rooms. Upon opening the door, they encountered an even more disturbing scene, furniture overturned and more bloodstains leading to the backyard. The atmosphere grew darker and more macabre. Carefully, the officers stepped outside. The moon shone brightly, but the nearby forest seemed cloaked in a menacing darkness. Following the trail, they ventured into the dense woods, with their flashlights illuminating their path. Among the trees, they found more bloodstains, indicating that something terrible had happened there. Tension was palpable as they continued onward, not knowing what they might come across. Every sound from the forest made them startle, alert to any potential danger. Ultimately, the trail of blood faded, and the officers found themselves at a dead end. There was no trace of the man or the woman. Uncertainty and unease consumed them, unable to comprehend what had occurred that night. The search continued for days, but no clue about the man or the woman's whereabouts was found. The mystery of that chilling night remained unsolved, leaving everyone with more questions than answers. The story of the woman facing terror in her own home and the disappearance of the hooded man became a local legend. The house on the edge of the forest was avoided by all, and no one dared to stay alone there during a weekend. Though the woman was never found, and the man disappeared without a trace, the memory of that haunting night remained etched in the memories of those who knew the tale. The mystery remained a shadow in everyone's minds, reminding them that evil could hide in unexpected places, and terror could lurk in the tranquility of an ostensibly safe home.